Hello everyone, I'm Heidi from Susan's family. Today, I will teach you the Yanu crown. From our Chinese aesthetic series, the Huaguan hanging ornament. It is divided into the main part and decorations. We will make these two sections in order. The main part is divided into the sidpiece and the crown body. First, we will crochet the sidpiece. Then we will crochet the crown body. We will integrate the sidpiece in the middle to complete the main part. Now, let's crochet the sidpiece. The sidpiece is divided into left and right sides. Each side consists of 3 pieces. For convenience in making, after completing them, the lowest parts of the 2 sides of the sidpiece need to be sewn with bead decorations first. The crocheting methods for both sides of the sidpiece are almost identical, but the stitch order differs. Both sides start with a foundation chain. Following the foundation chain, crochet in rounds counterclockwise. As you crochet, wrap the thin wire. A variety of stitches are used, which will be explained in detail later. Let's start by crocheting the left sidpiece. Please watch as I demonstrate. Before we begin, let's first learn the proper posture for crocheting. To make it easier for everyone to see clearly, I'll demonstrate using thick yarn. The colors are random. For specific yarn details, color schemes, and hook sizes, please refer to the detail page of our product and the charts. First, take out a 20 cm length of thin wire and set it aside. Then, take out the corresponding color of yarn. Begin with the foundation chain. Wrap the yarn tail around your left little finger. Pass it through between your middle finger and index finger. Then, pinch the yarn tail with your left thumb and middle finger. Pick up the hook with your right hand. Position it below the yarn. Wrap the yarn counterclockwise. With your left thumb and middle finger, pinch the crossing point of the loop. Put the hook on the left side of the yarn. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. This slip knot doesn't count as one stitch. Slightly tighten. CH stands for chain. The number before the chain is 15, which means make 15 chains. Now, start crocheting the chains. Yarn over and draw through. 1 chain is completed. This V-shaped braid represents 1 stitch. The loop on the hook does not count as a stitch. Continue crocheting chains. Yarn over and draw through. This is the 2nd stitch. Repeat this process. Continue crocheting 13 more chains. After completing, check the stitch count. There should be a total of 15 stitches. Next, starting from the 2nd chain from the hook. 1, 2. This chain. Pick up the front loop. That is, work 1 single crochet into this strand. Insert the hook. And add a thin wire at the same time. Place it above the hook. And below the yarn tail. Wrap it into the piece. Yarn over, and draw the yarn through. There should be 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over again, and draw through all the loops on your hook. 1 single crochet is now completed. It corresponds to the V-shaped braid on the upper right. This is the stitch of a single crochet. Continue crocheting single crochets downward. Insert into the front loop of the adjacent chain on the left side. Yarn over, and draw the yarn through. Yarn over again, draw through the 2 loops on your hook. The 2nd single crochet is now completed. Continue down, picking up the front loop of each chain and crocheting 5 single crochets. After completing, pick up the front loop of each chain, and crochet 3 half double crochets. Let's start with the first one. Yarn over, insert. Yarn over again, and draw the yarn through. Now there are 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over again, draw through all the loops on your hook. 1 half double crochet is now completed. Next, work 1 more half double crochet into the adjacent chain on the left side. Yarn over, insert, yarn over and draw the yarn through. Yarn over again, and draw through all 3 loops on your hook. The second half double crochet is now completed. Work 1 more half double crochet below. TM stands for HDC3 tog. Yarn over first. Insert into the top loop of the adjacent chain. Yarn over and draw the yarn through. This creates an unclosed half double crochet. Then, work another unclosed half double crochet into the adjacent chain on the left side. Yarn over, and insert. Yarn over and draw the yarn through. The second unclosed half double crochet is now done. Work 1 more unclosed half double crochet below. At this point, there should be 7 loops on your hook. Yarn over, and draw through all loops on the hook. One HDC3 tog is now completed. You are now at the position of the last remaining stitch. For the final chain, insert into the top loop, work 7 half double crochets. At this point, you have reached the other side of the foundation chain. Adjust the thin wire, making sure both ends are of equal length. Pick up the remaining 2 strands of the chain and continue crocheting. The entry position on this side corresponds to the positions on the other side. TV refers to HDC 2 in 1. 4 TV means working 4 HDC 2 in 1. Let's start with the first HDC 2 in 1. This means working 2 half double crochets into the adjacent insertion point on the left side. Pay attention, do not insert into the same position of the 7 half double crochets on this side. Pick up the remaining 2 strands of the chain on the left, and work 2 half double crochets. Note: place the starting yarn tail above the hook, wrapping it together with the wire into the piece. One, 2. The HDC 2 in 1 is completed. Work 3 HDC 2 in 1 downward. Continue weaving in the yarn tail, then work 1 half double crochet. One HDC 2 in 1. One single crochet. The V indicates a SC2 in 1. This means working 2 single crochets in the same position. 1, 2, The SC 2-in-1 is completed. Work downward, corresponding to the chains. Crochet 5 single crochets. Then work 1 chain. Slip stitch to the first single crochet. Insert. Yarn over, draw the yarn through, pull through all loops on the hook. Tighten. Secure with 1 chain. Leave a 5 cm yarn tail, and cut the yarn. Weave in the ends on the wrong side. Trim any excess yarn tails. The starting yarn tail has already been worked into a few stitches. It can now be cut off. Pull the thin wire again, to make the stitch pattern lay flat. Ensure the wire ends are roughly the same length. Tighten the wire. This completes the left side piece. As you can see, the left end of this side piece naturally curls upwards. The wire is placed on the right end. Now, let's work on the right side piece. The method is almost the same as for the left side. The stitches have been explained earlier. Please refer to the previous demonstration. Follow the chart to complete the crocheting. This is the right side piece looks like after completion. Maintain symmetry on both sides. Next, continue to crochet 2 more left side pieces and 2 more right side pieces. This concludes the explanation of the side pieces. Now, let's move on to making the bead decorations for the bottom end of the side pieces. The method is the same for both sides. The installation positions are symmetrical. I will demonstrate and explain using the right side piece as an example. First, take out the same color yarn used for crocheting the side piece. In the sample, the color is chosen randomly. Pull out 1 strand. Insert the sewing needle. I have already threaded it here. Take out the right side piece. With the right side facing you, the wire is on the left end. At the stitch closest to the wire. First, weave in the yarn on the wrong side. Then bring it to the right side. Tie a knot to secure the thread on the right side. Next, thread in a small white bead. Match up with the bottom edge. Continue threading to the right side. About 17 stitches. Then at the stitch position on the far right, sew a few stitches to secure. Next, thread in 7 small white beads. For the bead chain below, count back to the edge stitch position that corresponds to the length of 7 beads. Sew a few stitches to secure. While sewing, also secure the corresponding position of the lower bead chain. After completing, thread in 7 more beads. At the edge stitch position that corresponds to the length of 6 beads below, sew a few stitches to secure. Next, thread in 5 beads. At the initial insertion position, sew a few stitches to secure. Then move the yarn to the top. For the 3 sections of bead chains at the top, pull the middle point to the highest point. Sew a few stitches to secure at the corresponding position with the side piece. After completing, tie a knot on the wrong side, and weave in the yarn tails. Next, take out the white sewing thread and thread it through the needle at the left end of the side piece. At the same securing point, secure the sewing thread. Thread in 1 small white bead and 1 red bead. Pass back through the small white bead and the piece. Then thread in 4 small white beads. One red bead, and 4 small white beads. at the second edge stitch securing point. Sew a few stitches to secure. Consider the 4 white beads hanging down and the middle red bead as one group of beads. Continue securing 1 small white bead and 1 red bead. Then thread another group of beads. Secure them at the next edge stitch securing point. Continue to secure a small white bead and a red bead, followed by another group of beads. Finally, at the far right end, at the bead securing point, sew to secure. Finally, tie off and weave in the ends. This concludes the bead decoration for the right of the side piece. The left side is symmetrical to the right side. The method is identical. Follow the previous demonstration to complete the left side as well. Once completed, each side of the side piece will have 3 sections, with the beaded section placed at the front. Twist the thin wires together. The left side of the side piece is also made using the same method. This concludes the demonstration of the bead decoration for the side piece. Next, we will crochet the crown body. Start with a magic ring. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. During the crocheting process, you need to connect the side piece. The new stitches used include SC2 tog. Before we start crocheting, let's see the chart. In the chart, our plus number indicates the round number. The stitch instructions column describes the stitches and increases or decreases when working the current round. The total stitches column shows the total number of stitches after completing that round. Now, please watch as I demonstrate. The first row of the chart is magic ring 7x. This means starting with a magic ring and crocheting 7 single crochets in the first round. Pick up the yarn with your right hand. Wrap it twice around your left index finger. Now there are 3 strands of yarn on your left index finger. Pinch the overlapping part of the loops with your right thumb and index finger. Take it out. Then hang the yarn end on your left hand. Transfer the loop to your left hand. Pick up the hook with your right hand. Insert the hook into the loop. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. Chain 1 to secure. And the magic ring is now complete. Next, crochet the first round. Start with a chain as the beginning chain for the single crochet. This chain does not count as a stitch. Then work 7 single crochets into the ring. After that, close the magic ring. There are 2 loops in total. First, gently pull the starting tail. One of the loops will be loose. Tighten the loose loop. Leaving 1 loop remaining, directly pull tight the yarn tail. This way, the loop is secured. Once completed, work 1 slip stitch into the first single crochet, which is the second braid from the left. 1, 2. It's this stitch. If you do not know where the very first stitch is, you can also count the stitches backward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's still this stitch. Insert the hook into the stitch. Yarn over and draw the yarn through. Draw through the 2 loops on hook. Pull tight. The slip stitch is not indicated in the chart, but when crocheting in rounds, always finish by joining with a slip stitch and pull tight. The first round is now completed. Continue with the second round. The 7V in the chart means to work 7 SC2 in 1 in a row. Start with 1 beginning chain. Let me emphasize again, at the beginning of each round, you need to make a beginning chain. I won't repeat this for subsequent rounds. In the first stitch of the previous round, make 1 SC2 in 1. That is, insert the hook in the position for the slip stitch. Work 2 single crochets here. At the same time, weave in the yarn tail. Then, move left to the corresponding stitch. Work 6 SC2 in 1 in sequence. Complete this round. Finally, slip stitch to the first single crochet. Pull tight. You can trim the excess yarn tail from the beginning chain. The second round is now completed. Then move on to the third round. X, V, asterisk 7. The parentheses indicate a group. Asterisk several indicates the number of times to repeat the group. Start with 1 single crochet. Then work 1 SC2 in 1. This completes the XV group. Continue with the sequence of 1 single crochet and 1 SC2 in 1. Repeat this group 6 more times. Finally, slip stitch to the first single crochet. Pull tight. This completes the third round. You can see that the texture on the right side is more distinct. The wrong side appears more blurred. During the crocheting process, keep the right side facing towards you. Now move on to the fourth round. Start with 1 SC2 in 1. Then work 2 single crochets. This completes the V2X group. Continue with the method as follows. Repeat the sequence of 1 SC2 in 1 and 2 single crochets 6 times. Finish with a slip stitch. pull tight. This completes the fourth round. Now, let me show you how to count the rounds. On the right side of the piece, you will see raised textures. Count how many of these raised texture rounds there are. That indicates how many rounds have been completed. 1, 2, 3, 4. This means you have crocheted 4 rounds. From the 5th round down to the 15th round in the chart, the crochet method is relatively simple. The stitches used have all been demonstrated in detail before. The instructions for increasing have similar meanings to those previously explained. Just follow the stitch order in the chart, and repeat the corresponding number of times. Let me explain here. In the chart, R7 and R10, R15. Work evenly means these rounds involve crocheting 1 single crochet in each stitch. Complete all the stitches listed in the chart for each round. When crocheting, don't forget to make the beginning chain and slip stitch at the end. This is a small sample where I crocheted several rounds evenly. Crocheting evenly will make the piece naturally curl. Adjust the piece so that the right side faces out. Move on to crochet round 16. I will continue to demonstrate using this small sample. The number of rounds and stitches in the sample is not for reference. It's only to demonstrate the method. Start by crocheting 6 single crochets in sequence. After completing them, A indicates a SC2 tog. Insert the hook into the adjacent stitch on the left, yarn over, and draw the yarn through. This is an unclosed single crochet. Make another unclosed single crochet. Insert and yarn over, and draw the yarn through. Now there are 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, and draw through all loops on the hook once. A SC2 tog is completed. 6x, A, is done. Now work another group. First, work 6 single crochets in sequence. Then move on to the SC2 tog. Start with 2 unclosed single crochets. 1, 2. Yarn over and draw through all loops once. The SC2 tog is completed. Continue with the method of working 6 single crochets and 1 SC2 tog. Repeat the method 5 times. Finally, join with a slip stitch and pull tight. This completes round 16. Now move on to round 17. This round is worked evenly, while simultaneously joining the side piece. First, take out the side piece on the left side that has been twisted. That is, the group at the left end that curls upwards. For the sample, 1 side piece is used for demonstration. The quantity is not for reference. Only the method is demonstrated. In practice, it wraps around the twisted group of side piece on the left side. The same applies to the demonstration of attaching the side piece on the right side, which will not be repeated. The wire faces right. Place it below the hook, above the yarn tail. Then make 1 chain as your beginning chain, wrapping around the wire. Adjust the side piece with the wrong side facing you. Leave about the length of 5 single crochets for the wire. Bend the excess part to the left. Pick up stitches downward, wrapping around the wire. Temporarily do not wrap the bent part of the wire. Work 5 single crochets sequentially. After completing, bend the side piece downward. Continue picking up stitches and working single crochets. Continue crocheting until the 6th stitch from the end of this round. Reach the designated position. Place the right side piece with the wire facing left against the piece. With the wrong side of the side piece facing you, wrap the wire. Work 5 single crochets sequentially. After completing, adjust the tension. Bend the excess thin wire to the right. Then work 1 slip stitch. Pull tight. This completes round 17. Move on to round 18. This round requires decreasing stitches. Follow the crochet method from round 16, while wrapping the bent wire of the side piece in the same direction. As you approach the last few stitches, bend the wire at the corresponding position. Wrap the wire. Complete this round. Finish with a slip stitch and pull tight. Thus, we have completed round 18. Next, continue to follow the chart to complete the remaining rounds. On round 22, finish with 1 last slip stitch and pull tight. Finally, weave in the ends on the wrong side. This is what it looks like after completing the sample. Adjust the protruding wire to the inside of the piece. Bend it back. Secure it. Handle the other side in the same method. This concludes the crocheting of the crown body. Next, we will attach the decorations. The decorations divide into the crown body, pendant tassels, hanging string, assembly, the side piece decoration, to be completed in sequence. Next, we will attach the crown body decorations, including cloyassa motifs, motif bead string pendants, crown edge lace and red acrylic drills. Install them in order. Start with the cloyassa motifs. Let's look at the finished product. There are 3 sizes: large, medium, and small. Start by installing the large motif. Place the main part with the right side facing you, in the middle of the front side. Install 1 large motif on both left and right sides, close to the side piece. Install 1 large motif on each side. Position them with the larger end pointing downward. The bottom should be roughly level with the second to last round of single crochets on the crown body. I am using a small sample. Let me demonstrate using the large motif in the middle as an example. The accessories on the small sample are not for reference. I will only demonstrate the method. First, take out the same color yarn used for crocheting the crown body. For convenience in watching, the sample uses a random color. Pull out a strand and thread it through the darning needle. Tie a knot. Start by securing the loop above the large motif. Insert the needle. Secure the sewing thread. Then, at the predetermined position, around the 10th round of single crochets, at the middle point on the right side, sew a few stitches to secure it. There are no specific requirements for the method, just make sure it's sewn securely. Next, carry the yarn over to the corresponding position of the securing loop on the bottom right. Pay attention to ensure the sewing thread does not show on the right side. Position it correctly. Sew a few stitches to secure it. Finally, transition to the corresponding position of the securing loop on the left side. Sew a few stitches to secure it. Then tie off on the wrong side, and weave the yarn tail. This secures one large motif in place. Continue to install the remaining two as well. Next, install the medium motifs. Place the medium motifs between the two large motifs, with the slightly pointed petal side facing down. At its widest ends, slightly stick to the blue protrusions on the sides of the two large motifs. Refer to the finished product or make adjustments according to personal preference. The installation method is the same as for the large motifs. Everyone secure them in place. Next, install the small cloyassa flowers. Place one on each side above the large motifs on the right side, symmetrically. And place one between the side seams on the wrong side. Place one on each side above it. For the remaining 7 small flowers at the top, place them randomly. Just make sure they are roughly evenly distributed overall. All small flowers use the same installation method. I will demonstrate the method with a small sample. The accessory parts are not included in this reference. Take the yarn and thread it through the sewing needle. Insert the needle from the wrong side. Secure the yarn well. Pull the needle through the small flower. With the right side of the small flower facing you, pass the needle through a bead. Then, go back through the center of the small flower. Next, weave it into the piece. Once completed, transition the yarn inside the piece. Continue attaching the other small flowers. After all small flowers are attached, bring the yarn to the right side, and tie off below the small flower. Hide the yarn tail inside the piece. This concludes the explanation of the cloyessa flower motif installation method. Next, we will make and attach the pendant with beaded motifs. There are 2 of them, and the making method is the same. First, take out the sewing thread. Thread it through a sewing needle. The needle should be able to pass through the small beads. Take out the gold motif, and find one of the outermost edges, the small circle at the vertex. Thread it through a sewing needle. Leave one end with a 7/8 cm tail. Tie the sewing thread in a double knot. Securing it firmly, then pass through 6 small white beads. Next, insert upwards through a gold flower. Followed by 6 small beads. Then pass through the small ring on the head of the phoenix accessory. Backtrack through the 6 small beads. Pay attention when threading back. Try to thread one by one. Avoid catching the inner sewing thread. Gently pull to tighten the sewing thread. Then pass through the small flower. Ensuring the beads are spaced with proper tension. Next, thread through 6 small white beads again. Then pass through an adjacent vertex small circle on the gold motif. Tie a knot and secure it firmly. Hide the sewing thread inside the beads. Trim off any excess yarn tails. For the starting tail, follow the same method. Thread it into a sewing needle and hide it inside the beads. This completes the beading at the top of the motif. Then, re-thread the sewing needle. With 2 strands, tie a knot, making sure the knot is secure. To prevent the small beads from slipping, keep the yarn tails short. If you're worried about them coming loose, you can also secure them with a bit of glue. Then, thread on 1 small white bead, 1 red bead, 14 small white beads, 1 red bead, and 1 small white bead. Tie off at the end, ensuring the knot holds the beads in place, and secure it firmly. I have already threaded the beads on my small sample. Set it aside for later use. Next, using the same method as for the top bead string, take a single strand of yarn, leaving a tail of 7-8 centimeters. Tie a knot and secure it to the small circle at the bottom of the golden motif, maintaining symmetry. Thread on 6 small white beads. Then insert the hook upwards through the center of the golden flower, and pass through the middle of the pre-threaded bead string. Pass back through the flower. Pull slightly to tighten. This flower should face the opposite direction of the one above. Then thread on 6 more small white beads. And secure it at another symmetrical fixing circle on the golden motif. Tie a double knot. And hide the yarn tail inside the beads. Handle the starting yarn tail in the same way. Make another bead strung pendant with the same method. Once both are completed, glue between the large motifs and the medium motifs on both sides. At the gap positions, the tails should point towards the hat top, with the heads pointing outward to each side. Mindful to only glue the tail sections of the phoenix. This concludes the explanation for making and attaching the bead pendant. Next, we will make the crown edge lace trim. Take out the narrow satin ribbon. Trim the starting side neatly. And singe it with a flame to prevent unraveling. Start from the slip stitch position and follow along the crown edge, gluing a circle all around. Make sure the shiny side of the ribbon faces away from you. As you approach the end, overlap by about 0.5 centimeters and trim off. Singe it with a flame. Once the glue is completely dry, have the right side of the hat facing you, apply glue and attach an oval-shaped acrylic stone horizontally, at symmetrical positions in the front, back, left, and right of the installed ribbon. Secure it firmly. Then, between each pair of oval acrylic stones, attach another oval-shaped acrylic stone. Finally, between each pair of oval acrylic stones, attach a red acrylic stone. Once completed, randomly place and attach red acrylic stones in the gaps of the crown piece. This completes the explanation of the main part decoration. Next, we will make the pendant tassel. Take the thread and insert it into a sewing needle. Tie a knot with 2 strands. Ensure the knot is secure. Take out the tassel. Wrap the hanging string around the pineapple knot, and tie a knot. Once completed, hide the excess hanging string inside the pineapple knot. Trim off the excess hanging string. Hide it inside the tassel. Then, pass the sewing needle through the top of the tassel knot from the inside. Draw through the tied knot. Next, pass through 4 small white beads. Then, insert through the bottom hole of the wooden pendant. Pass back through the beads. Tie a knot. Hide the thread inside the beads. Cut off the excess. Take a 40 centimeters length of sewing thread. Thread the needle and tie a knot. Pass through the top hole of the wooden pendant. Pass back through the knotted loop. Then, insert through 1 red bead, and 5 small white beads. This makes 1 group. Repeat for 3 groups. The sample has fewer beads. I will only demonstrate the method. Please complete the remaining 3 groups of beads on your own. That concludes the explanation for the pendant tassel. Leave the remaining thread and needle for the tassel aside for later use. Place them to the side for now. Next, we will crochet the hanging string. Take out the corresponding color of yarn. Start with a slip knot. Crochet a braid about 20 centimeters long. Then join the beginning and end with a slip stitch. Secure it with 1 chain. Pull tight. Weave in the ends. This completes the hanging string. Set it aside for later use. Next, we will assemble the pieces. Take out the pendant, tassel, and main part. Note that the main part decorations are already assembled. Here, the sample only demonstrates the assembly method. Locate the center of the starting point. Work from the inside out. Pull through with the sewing needle. Then thread on 4 small white beads. Then fold the hanging string in half along the knot. At this knot position, sew a few stitches to connect and secure it. Tie a knot. Weave in the yarn tail inside the hanging string. Trim excess tail. That concludes the explanation of the hanging string and assembly. This concludes the explanation of making the Yanyu crown. Next, we will install the sidpiece decorations. Tidy up the 3 layers of sidpiece. Arrange each layer of sidpiece so that they slightly overlap from front to back. The first layer of sidpiece is at the bottom, and the last layer is at the top. inside the 2 outer circles formed by the bead strings on the first layer. Apply a red acrylic drill with glue roughly in the middle of each. Do the same on the other side. Then, on the middle layer of seed piece, slightly above the center, apply a red acrylic drill with glue on each side. On the top layer of seed piece, slightly above the center, evenly apply 2 red acrylic drills with glue on each side. This concludes the explanation of the seed piece decoration. Up to this point, the making process of the Yanyu crown is fully explained. If you have any questions during the process, don't hesitate to reach us via our website, Susan's Family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next episode.